Hey, long time no see. But that's not the point right now. This is not the matter at hand. The matter at hand is some Smash Brothers. The final man. The final character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighter Pack 1 is about to be upon us. Now, if you haven't heard the news, let me show you the news. Bada bing, bada boom. Right from Nintendo versus themselves, join the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Director Masahiro Sakurai on 1/16 at 6 a.m. Pacific Time for roughly 35-minute live stream featuring an in-depth look at the upcoming DLC fighter, which you'll reveal in the video. Now, as we know here, we ain't seeing shit. The only thing we can see here is Sakurai going question marks and some shiny stuff. 6 a.m. Pacific Time, or Eastern Standard Time in my case, would be about 9 a.m., which is not very convenient for me since I have school that exact day. It's on a Thursday. Why couldn't it be on a Friday or a Saturday? Come on, Sakurai, Saturday would be perfect. Man, nobody's doing anything on Saturdays. I guess kids are still going to school on Saturdays in Japan, but come on, Sunday? Come on, bro. Nobody does shit on Sunday. I mean, I ain't about to skip. Probably skip. Should I skip? Never mind. No skipping church. I guess it could be conflicting with the Lord's timeline. Anyways, in terms of characters, we do not know shit. Well, like some people have been saying that the most likely character to be released is Dante. Now, I don't know about that. The only reason why they think that's a thing, to my understanding, is that Devil May Cry apparently comes out in February. What Devil May Cry game is coming out in February? I don't actually know. They just kind of said that it's gonna happen. Apparently there's a Devil May Cry thing coming soon. So maybe that has something to do with it. People have also said, oh, he's making a 3 with his fingers, right? He got the fingers out like this with his weird dab, and there's 3 question marks. So that means that it's Devil May Cry 3 or something like that, which I'm not sure if Devil May Cry 3 is dropping. Devil May Cry 3 Switch, is that dropping on the... Oh yeah, Devil May Cry 3 is dropping on February 20th. So people are kind of thinking that because he's making a 3, he's hinting towards Devil May Cry 3, which is dropping rather soon, in which case Dante's the character. Now, personally, I don't think that means anything. Like, we're just assuming that the 3 in his fingers means anything, and that because this is happening like a whole month from now, by the way, that somehow it is relevant to what's happening right now. I don't think that this 3 means really anything. Like, people, like, the 3 question marks here could be indicating Devil May Cry 3, or it could just be indicating that there's 3 characters being released, or they just did triple question marks because they felt like it. Maybe the 3 question marks is actually the number of letters in the person's name, like who in the character's name. We don't know. We're just assuming that because he made a 3 and this is here, that has something to do with that. Because again, you can make the argument for a number of things, like Kingdom Hearts 3, Bayonetta 3. Not that would be relevant. No More Heroes 3 actually is relevant. Now, out of all the characters that I think are gonna go, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but I sort of believe that the main big characters that they can do have to be like, especially given the fact that this is the last character on the Fighter's Pass, it's gotta be a big name. It can't be no scrub. It can't be some tiny guy. It's gotta be the big boy. And in which case, I would think that the only person who could really fit that description would be, well, the only kind of characters that could fit that description currently would be somebody like Master Chief or Crash Bandicoot. Dante is definitely up there. Sora as well. And like maybe a legacy character, maybe like a legacy character. Personally, in terms of like the top candidate for a legacy character, I think that Ryu Hayabusa makes the most sense from Ninja Gaiden, just given the fact that in terms of a legacy character and also a third-party legacy character, there's not that many from the NES era that were as iconic as like Simon and Mega Man. So I would assume that they'd go for the obvious final choice in terms of like popular NES franchises that weren't like Nintendo based. Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden fits the bill perfectly. Really, he's like, Ninja Gaiden was a huge deal. It was even mentioned in that one Nintendo movie. I can't remember what it's called. The Wizard? Yeah, that one. They mentioned that game specifically in there. It's also one of like the first games to have like a cinematic story implemented into it. If you ever played the game, before every single stage there's like a cutscene, which was completely unheard of at the time. Like in terms of just like the production value on it is very, very well translated too. So in terms of being like a legacy title, a landmark title, it has its history. It's very big, especially for the time. But on top of that, there's also the connections between Nintendo and Koei Tecmo, who makes Ninja Gaiden. Of course, they were the ones who made... I mean, obviously they've been supporting them since then, but of course they're also the ones who made Hyrule Warriors. And they also made Fire Emblem Warriors, and they also worked on Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now that I remember that, that's another point to be made when it comes to this picture here. 3 here he could be making could be Fire Emblem Three Houses. It could be that too. Like I mean, most of the DLC characters that we've had, in fact, not most, all of them, besides Piranha Plant, who was originally supposed to be in the game anyways, so he doesn't really count. He's not part of the Fighter Pass. Everybody in the Fighter Pass has been a third-party character. That's not to say that that is a hard rule, because Sakurai is a liar who doesn't play by the rules. He does whatever the hell he wants. So really, that could change. The point that is mostly being made is just that I don't think that this image means anything. It's just the Smash community going off on their shit. Now, is there a chance that Dante is one of them? Of course. I just went over the fact that I think Dante is a big enough character to where I think he would make it a good impact. He was somewhat relevant too. Again, there's the hints that could be there. I'm not completely denying them, but I don't see it. I think that's like the main point. I just don't see it. But like, it's gotta be somebody big. Like, I think they have to go out on a really colossal note, in which case they can't really go with somebody smaller. Like, I don't think they can release a Fire Emblem character and be like, oh, that's the last one. So I don't really think it's a Three Houses person, or if it's a first party character. It can't be Rex or Pyra. I don't really think it's anybody like small scale. It's gotta be a big hitter, because this is how you're finishing off the Fighter's Pass. This is a whole thing, basically. Like, this is like, we started off with Joker. You can't die with a weak, you can't end off on a weak note when we've had so much hype up to this point, you know, even if we have more fighters coming afterwards. And to follow that up, the next thing I think they're going to talk about is the next Fighter Pass. They're going to clarify that, and a bit of a crack theory of mine is that he's going to reveal 2 characters this time, not just 1, maybe even 3, because maybe the 3 fingers he's making actually signifies that there's 3 characters. The 3 question marks, those are all different characters. 1, 2, 3. Who knows? Now, the bigger point that I would say is that it's probably going to be 2, and they're going to announce the next Fighter's Pass or whatever is going on with the new characters, because they did mention that like way back when Terry was initially revealed. They were like, more characters in development. They haven't talked about anything since then. I would think that Sakurai, now finishing off this Fighter's Pass, would be like, okay, here's what's up with this next whatever. However many more characters we add, whether it be 5, whether it be 10, whether it be like 3, whatever. I think he's going to talk about that once everything's said and done, and maybe drop another announcement. Maybe. At which point, I could see a much smaller character from a different game being allowed to be the first in that instant, because we ended off on such a high note. Like, if the last character is like Master Chief, for example, oh my god, that's like huge, man. It's Master Chief, the fucking mascot of PlayStation. He is now here as the straight up representative, well, not PlayStation, the fuck of Microsoft. He's the mascot of Microsoft. He's now here as a proper representation of Microsoft and Nintendo collaborating. Not just Banjo-Kazooie, who was originally a Nintendo character who became a Microsoft character. We're talking about like a full crossover. Or Crash Bandicoot, which would also be a huge deal. Like, if they revealed something like that there, we'd already have a huge hype character. In which case, you could put anybody as the first character for the next Fighters Pass. I mean, I guess you still want to start off on a high note, but like it doesn't have to be such a high note, you know. It could be like Ryu Hayabusa, it could be Dante, it could be a number of people. One thing I want to make very clear, I absolutely think we're getting a shadow drop. Like, there's no way. I don't think that, like, when we get the next character, Fighter Pass 5, that character is either coming out very, very soon, or is dropping that day. Because there's no way. Considering Terry came out, what, 3 months ago? Back in November, December, January, okay, 2 months, more or less. I think, and like, yeah, Banjo was 2 months prior to that. And like, I'm pretty sure Heroes were also 2 months prior to that. Like, there was enough time to where they probably, and like, even back when they like dropped Banjo, they already had gameplay for Terry. Like, I just think that like the character is definitely about to drop soon. The fact that they're talking about them, they're probably gonna drop the night of, because that's what happened. I'm pretty sure when Terry was dropped, it was like the day of when he made that announcement. So I think we're gonna get the character revealed, and we're gonna get the character talked about, and the character dropped within very close succession of one another. So that's something to look out for. For the second character, if there is one, maybe, I doubt it. They'll probably wait a couple more months, and then Sakurai will do the same thing again. But I definitely think that we're getting a drop of that character very soon after that. So just keep in mind. Whoever it might be, it's pretty likely in my eyes that it's just they're gonna be like, alright, here it is, boys, pick them up and play them. It's possible, it's very possible, just because like I'm honestly surprised they didn't announce that character back when they revealed Terry, because I thought that would have been the perfect opportunity. I guess they also didn't have a Nintendo Direct or anything to build that up, because usually the characters get dropped in Nintendo Directs and then they get talked about later. But in this instance, the character's dropping in a Sakurai Direct. This is unprecedented, pretty much. Except for, I guess, when Mewtwo was announced way back during the 50 Fact Extravaganza in Smash 4. But, like, other than that, yeah, this is kind of a big deal. But anyways, that's more or less my thoughts on the DLC. I'm not sure what the next DLC pack will come on, but in terms of like this event, that's more or less my predictions. I'm pretty confident. Like, Dante seems like the most likely character. I'm still pushing for Ryu Hayabusa, which is possible. I don't think it's going to be a first party character, though I could be a surprise. I also think that the facts, the hard facts we're getting for Dante aren't as hard as people are making them out to be. Like, really, it's conjecture. We don't have any proof of that. There hasn't been any like major leaks to my understanding. Like, there was, I think, like when I looked up this and I saw like something about a leak, but to my understanding, it's not really much there. Roughly 35 minutes. Now, see, 35 minutes doesn't mean jack really in terms of like the time span, because we know last time with Terry, he just spent that whole time fanboying, so that's possible. We could be just getting a whole bunch of detail that he's going to talk about, which makes me think, which gives me the idea that he's going to talk about a character with a lot of history, which could be in the case for Dante, for Ryu Hayabusa. I think it's going to be more of a legacy character, but like a popular legacy character, you know. It could be Crash Bandicoot. It could be like somebody like that. Although a part of me also feels like it isn't. Like, I don't know. They don't want to end off on a PlayStation note, you know, when they're trying to sell Switches. I don't know. It could be a number of characters. I personally think like Dante and Ryu are the ones I'm standing for, especially since I mentioned that these could be the number of the letters. Like, the 3 question marks is just the name of the character, in which case R-Y-U, Ryu. Could be. I don't know. I'm not really sure, and for a while I've been on that kind of stance, is that I'm not entirely sure who the next character is going to be. It could be Sora, it could be a number of people. Dante and Ryu are the most likely. But anyways, aside from that, that's basically what I had to say, honestly. I'm hyped for this event. Better believe I'm going to be streaming this. I'll stream it over on Twitch. I'm actually skipping out on class to get that done, so you're welcome. But no, I'm going to skip out on class specifically so I can get that lockdown You can also catch me there to watch it with me on my Twitch. So if that's something that gets your attention, well, then hey, look out for that. I'll upload it on YouTube a little bit later. I'll probably edit it down a little bit, maybe. I mean, I didn't do that with Terry, but that's not the point. And yeah, other than that, just fucking excited, man. I can't wait to see what comes next after this too. Like, Fighter Pass 1 has been lit from the start to finish. Really, I've been out of the prediction game since Joker. I was like, oh, I called that way in advance. I was like, oh, there's a new Smash Brothers game. Joker's getting in that shit. And that's from that. Since the Inkling drop, I was like, on my my Shulk shit. See in the future. But other than that, I've been like, well, I don't even care. But now I've come back with a prediction. I bet Wii U Hayabusa will come at some point. But in terms of right now, no idea. I doubt it's going to be a first party. But if there is, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Fire Emblem character. I'm just saying. Could also be some other franchise like Xenoblade or whatever. But again, as it currently stands, not much to say. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm going to edit this shit up. Make it sparkly. I'm not. It's just going to be me talking with some music behind it. But thank you for watching. I'll probably start uploading a little bit more. I just need like a confidence boost, you know? And yeah, look forward to it. Ciao.